Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome. I am live with you today, this morning. Happy Friday. Weekend is coming up, and I'm super excited we may go out to the country, so to speak, and have a little rest. And so I'm looking forward to that. Um, but I'm glad the weekend is here. And so I thought I would just stop in and chat with you a little bit about this watercolor set that I just got. So say hello in the comments as you get here. Say hello, let me know if you can hear me and all of that stuff, because that would be good to know. And yeah, okay, so let's kind of get started. We're going to talk about, or I'm going to try out really, these Art Philosophy Watercolor Confetti set by Prima Marketing rather. And so I'll tell you a little bit about why I wanted to do this. It's because when I did my Watercolor Basics Workshop recently, and I was working with the absolute beginners of watercolor. They're just trying it out for the first time. They want to see if they like it and that sort of thing. And I always recommend this Mission Gold set, which I love, to my beginners. And the reason I recommend this one, it's a 36 color set. It's 2 paints with a palette. And the reason I recommend it for beginners is because you're going to get a lot of watercolor for not too much money. And the colors are beautiful, gorgeous, really vibrant professional watercolors. So I think they're a really great set for starting out as a beginner. But I also realized that in talking with my students, if they're just getting started, maybe they don't want to invest $60 in watercolors or have such a big set. It takes up a lot of table space, right? So I thought I would try out a few other brand or another brand that is well liked by a lot of people, and that is the Prima Marketing. Now these are, according to Prima, professional watercolors. And this is a field sketch set, particularly. They have sets of 12 also. And Prima says they are great for artists, watercolorists, students, and beginners. And of course, they include this tin. And also, honestly, I bought this particular set because look at the little dots on this tin. So fun, right? So fun. Hello, how are you? Welcome. Yeah, so if I don't like the watercolor in this set, that's okay because I like the tin, right? So it's always a bonus. And this set was around $22, so not too expensive. And it comes with a water brush, which is nice. And I haven't added any water to it. It's a travel set, so this one will fit inside here. And I like water brushes. I think they're fine. I just don't use them very often. It comes with this little plastic card, which has all the colors and even the pigment information, which I was honestly surprised by that. I didn't know it would have the pigment information on this card. So if you can see how it says like PBK7, that tells you what pigment is in there. If you're new to watercolor, you might not know that, right? So it tells you what they're made of basically and how many pigments. Like this one has 2 in it, right? And then they have cute names on here, which is nice. So these are often used by beginners and by crafters and artists alike. And so just thought I'll give them a quick try, swatch out some of the colors a little bit, and just see what happens. I'm gonna set this aside for the moment and look at the paints. So let me hold this up here so you can see. Now, if I just look at them, they're very smooth. They look a little shiny and they're mounded a little bit. And they're in a plastic. This is a plastic container with all the spaces inside the metal tin. And they have this little sponge for drying your brush, which is great for traveling, right? And these spaces here, you can mix color in, or you can put like water or something like that if you need some extra water. And of course, you can have also this space in the tin for mixing colors, or putting your colors on the palette, which is probably what I will use it for today. Now let me see. So these are by Prima Marketing. They're called Art Philosophy Watercolor Confetti Set. And what I'm going to do is I think swatch the colors. And so I have this piece of watercolor paper here, and to make it fit in here so that I can take it with me, I'm just going to flip it over. I've already put the label on it, as you can see, and press it down and then mark it with a pencil so I know it will fit in here, right? And then I will have a way to just show how I am going to fold this. So I'm going to fold this and tear this piece of paper. Now you can cut it, and the way you can get it straight is just by lining up this edge, and then start with your bone folder. And if you just go across that by holding that edge, it's going to make a fairly straight edge. Now it's not perfect. I can see mine's off a little. That's okay. I'm okay with that. And then say hello as you're popping in. Let me know who you are and where you're from. That would be fantastic. So now I have a sheet. I got in a little hurry there. That will fit inside, that I can swatch my colors on, because while this is nice to have, it doesn't really tell you what these colors look like when they're on paper. So I'm going to do that real quick here, but I need to make sure I can fit all these paints. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 6 across and 4 down, and I'm just going to make a quick little, let's see, and 4 down. That's, I think, easier to get 6 across than to get 4 down. So I've got my ruler, and I want to make sure I get 4 down. Let me flip it around. Here we go. So I can just kind of go eyeball it, I guess. So I have this much space right here. So what I would do is just kind of visually mark it in half, in half, in half. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and this one at the top is pretty small. I'll just bring this line down a little bit. And I don't always do like lines and things when I'm doing it, but I am today because I have so many colors to fit that I feel like if I don't, I'm not going to fit them. So it's kind of that's the reason. That's kind of, I guess, a personal choice there. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and if I divide that in half, and then this would be in 3s. So I need 3 on each side. It's a bonus lesson, right? How to make a grid for your watercolors for your swatches. And this needs to be in 3s, and I don't go for perfection. I go for fun and enjoyment. So I'm okay if it's not perfect. And I do notice I have a lot more space on here than up here, but that's okay, right? So now I have a little grid, as you can see, for my art, for my paint colors. And I'm just going to try these colors, and then we'll look at them in a little bit in comparison to my Mission Gold ones, okay? So I'll start by spritzing these colors, getting them wet. It'll make it a lot easier to swatch them if they're already a little wet, right? And I'll get my watercolor brush. I'll use this one. I don't mind if it's kind of big. It's kind of big for this process, but let's see. So I'm not going to really, white's not going to show on my paper, right? But there it is. There's our white. Let me put this here so I can see the color names. Hi, how are you? So I'm white. This one is called Lemon. It's a really light, bright, vibrant yellow, isn't it? Extra water off. This one is called Yellow, and I'm going to do this fairly quickly, and I'm just going to try not to touch the one next to it, because that way they won't contaminate, because I'm not testing their flow right now. I'm just looking at what the colors actually look like on paper. This one is called Melon. It looks a little opaque to me. It doesn't have white in it. Yes, it does have white in it. PW6 is a white pigment. So that's why it looks a little bit opaque. Right? You begin to recognize that after a while. It just looks a little different. And then this one is called Cherry. They do wet really nicely, like they're already really easy to pick up the paint. So that is nice to see. And the colors are quite vibrant. Look at that. So I actually like what I see so far. That was nice flow, and I added some water there. This one is wild strawberry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I made extra space and didn't realize it. How did I do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, because I wasn't counting this space. Okay, this one is wild strawberry. Right. So this is maybe a little bit cooler red, and this is a little bit warmer red. But look how they look on this card. Look at the difference of how they look on this card and how they look when they're wet. Now they're going to dry lighter because watercolor, right? Hi, how are you? Welcome. But interesting to see how this swatch card, which is very helpful with names and everything, but it just doesn't reflect the color that it will look like on the paper. So just something to know, right? Okay, next color is Marigold. I picked up a lot of pigment with that one, not a lot of water. That's a nice warm yellow. I kind of have, I think it's kind of orangey yellow, right? So I have yellow and that little warmer yellow, and then I have, this is a really cool yellow, and then we have this is even more warm and leaning more toward orange, right? They are colorfully arranged in rainbow order. This one is called Papaya. It's very close in color to this one, isn't it? I'm interested to see how they dry. Like I wonder how differently they'll dry. I'll drop a little bit of mine there just to get that color going. How's it going, everyone? You doing okay today? This one is actually called Orange. Orange is a color that's actually pretty difficult to make if you're trying to mix colors. It's just kind of difficult to get a nice, like true orange. So it's nice to have that in the palette. This one is Carnation, which is a pink, and it does not have white in it. It does look a little opaque to me. See there. Oh, I let those blend. Whoops, I touched it. Okay, that's the danger of doing this the way I'm doing it, right? Okay, then here's pink, which is just another pink. So we got lots of these lovely, I mean, really pretty colors. And honestly, I really like the name Confetti. I think that's a great name for paint set. All right. Okay, Wild Rose, which is a very cool pink. It looks like from the swatch. Yes, it's a purpley pink. It's leaning toward that blue bias kind of thing. All right, and then we have Sky Blue. Hey, welcome everyone who's joining me. I'm glad you're here. I'm just trying out this watercolor confetti set by Prima Marketing because I wanted to offer some, maybe see if it's something I would be able to recommend beginners. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just trying out the colors and seeing how they look on this swatch card, which will then fit into my set. And right now, just looking at them, they're very nice and vibrant. They wet really easily. They soften up easily. It's not hard to get the paint moving, which is nice. This one is called Denim. It does look like denim. It really does. All right, and then this one is blue. This reminds me of the Mission Gold Cerulean Blue, which looks different in different paint sets. So that's a really nice bright blue there. This is teal, which is, I would call this Viridian if I was just comparing it to other colors, except it's not quite as dark as a Viridian you would get in a different set. And then we have, this is called teal. Then we have purple. This one's purple. They really do like come, just pick up really easily. I did pre-wet them, right? So they would be easier, but sometimes even if you pre-wet paint sets, the color is hard to move. But this is moving nicely. This is lime green. It looks pretty limey green. Let's see what else. This one is black. You don't always get black watercolors in a set, although the Mission Gold does come with ivory black. It's just called black P, and it just has black in it. That's a nice dark black. I like it. I like it. So far, I'm like pleasantly surprised, really. I didn't know. I know a lot of people use these, but I didn't know how they would be, and I'm liking it so far. This is called brown, and it actually has 3 different pigments in it. And if you're kind of a watercolor nerd, like I can be, then, you know, that might be helpful to you. And this one is wood. It's a nice reddish dark brown. This one is moss. That's pretty opaque as well. And sand. Kind of move right along here for you, that reminds me a bit of yellow ochre. So I'm back to yellows again. I've kind of made a circle, but these are more neutral yellows. And this one is called anise. Anise. That's what they are. So now I've swatched all of these colors. So things that I think about when I'm looking at watercolors is maybe how much they shift when they're dry, how easily they are awakened in the palette, vibrancy of the color, and other kinds of like special effects things. So as this is drying, I'll just do a little bit of playing. I like to do a game called Who's the Boss, where you just try different colors and you see who's more bossy, who's going to push into the other kind of thing. And so let's just try that with this blue and this yellow. And I don't know their exact names, but get the idea, I think. Hello, how are you? Feel free to say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're from. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm just trying out this watercolor set. I think it might be good for beginners who want to just have a more compact set or want to spend a little bit less or are not interested in tube paints. So it's just a little test here and just playing around with it to just see. I have never used them before, just opened them. So in case you're popping in right now and you wanted to know what was going on. Now the blue is a little bit more bossy than that yellow in this case. And this is this color, which is cherry. This is called cherry, which is a nice, it's really kind of it's a very bright pinky color. And I'll go back with the same yellow because why not? Let's just see what happens when we let them flow together. See who's more bossy. What do you think? Who's bossy in these two? Okay, not hold the paper super flat. Look at that. It's just flowing straight into the yellow. All right, that's pretty interesting. These are kind of starting to dry now a little bit. I feel like there's not I mean, the colors are really nice and vibrant. I really like it. I really like it. I didn't know how it would be, so let's do a green. Have any of you tried these before? If you tried these, let me know in the comments and tell me what you think of them. If you feel like they're a good set, they're not worth the money, or what you would use them for. Maybe you use them for card making, or you use them for crafting, or you use them for professional painting or artsy craftsy stuff or whatever. Doesn't matter. I just would like to hear what you use them for. So that green is pushing into that blue a little bit. Can you see that? So the green is pushing into the blue a little. So I wonder now, out of the yellow and green, which one would be more bossy? So let's try that. Because why not? Just playing, seeing what happens with these paints and how they work together. Drop a little more paint in there. Drop a little more green in there. See what happens. So the blue was more bossy than the yellow. The green and the blue, they're almost even, but the green pushes in a little bit. The green is pushing into that yellow, which is what we would expect since the blue was a little bit stronger than yellow up here, as far as like who's going to push each other around in the painting. It's just fun to see and fun to play with, right? All right, so let's see, should we do anything else with these? I need a little piece of paper. I guess what I'm wondering is, I'm wondering a little bit about how they mix with each other. Like if you were to mix colors, like say if you mix this blue with the cherry, what kind of mix are you going to get? So I'll just do that here. Now, sometimes when you get a new paint palette, it's got a little bit of waxiness on there and you can wash it. You can use like the magic sponge kind of thing or toothpaste to get a little bit of that finish off, but not too much. So I actually went to this Wild Rose. So let's just see how this mixes together. Oh, that's fun. It's fun to just see it in the palette. That blue is just pushing that pink around. But you get a nice mix there, right? A nice purple. It's a soft kind of lavender kind of color, right? So that blends pretty nicely. Has a lot of water in it, so it's pretty light. Just do a little gradient there. To see how they work together. So I tend to just experiment with individual or 2 colors at a time or 3 or something like that. So okay, so first impressions. I'm going to wrap this up after I talk about first impressions. First impressions are these are much more vibrant and dry really nicely. They're really more vibrant and I don't know, they're better than I expected them to be. I didn't expect them to be bad by any means or anything like that, but they're better than I expected them to be. So that's a nice surprise. The colors are nice. Some of them are pretty opaque. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just something to know about your watercolors. They're drying. They don't shift in color a lot. That's still nice and bright, even though that's really pretty dry, also pretty dry. As far as the variety of colors, there are a lot of yellow, especially warm orangey yellow colors in here. But that's that's okay. It's just what it comes with. And then there are just a few blues, or 3 blues, quite a few reds. We got a purple, we've got a couple of greens, and we have some neutral colors. So that's nice. I feel like they're drying pretty close to what the Mission Gold would do. And so I like that about them. I can't say for sure I recommend them yet or not because I'm just now trying them, right? This is my first try, but I think they're really interesting and they could be really great. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here and watching. I appreciate you watching the replay. Let me know what kind of watercolor paints you like to use. Have you tried the set or the Prima set? Let me know in the comments. Let's just chat about it and see what we can find that maybe is a good set for beginner watercolor painters. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you very soon. Bye.